Hi there, welcome to our latest bonus chat. Now, this was recorded as part of our Bayonne v Leinster Rap Pod. If you missed it, be sure to check it out on Apple, Spotify, and all the other usual places. Now, for the next while in these videos, I'm going to ask my contributors to turn the spotlight on particular players of their choosing. And to kick off, Rich has gone for three particular players in three very different positions.
Yeah, rather than focusing just the one, I thought that there were three players who stood out for me in yesterday's match, and they're not usual suspects. Oh, well, one of them. If you listen to the pod, you will know who one of them is. That's Max Deegan. But I'll start with Boyle. He came in, because of all the injuries we've been having throughout the course of this season. He stood up. He not only did he stand up very strongly in his bread and butter, the scrummaging, but as a loose head, he really put himself about. He ran some excellent lines, some excellent carries. Was very close to a number of turnovers. Um, it's often used when especially when you're talking about young players as to whether they belong or not at in the higher levels of the rugby world. And he certainly belongs. He certainly belonged yesterday. I appreciated that wasn't his debut in the Champions Cup, but he certainly and that kid's going places. He really put in a good shift. He runs some excellent supporting lines. Very clever player. He's a good baller. He really is. The other one who I never tire of speaking loudly about is JJ Josh Kenny. What a breath of fresh air he is. It's not easy shifting from sevens to 15s. Uh, he seems to have done so effortlessly, seamlessly. He always seems to be in the right position. He is strong. He tracks back. He's committed. There was one, and I won't talk about his offensive work, actually. I'll talk about his defensive work. One particular instance where there was a kick through, which Jimmy didn't field properly. There was a bit of a misfield, a bit of a fumble. He managed to regather the ball, but by which time there were about 300 baying Basques running at Jimmy trying to get the ball back. And guess who pops up? JJ Kenny, who props up and holds them off until the cavalry arrives and we can secure the ball. Now, this was 5 meters out from our line. That could very easily have ended up in, at the very least, a penalty for holding on. At the very worst, a try to Bayonne. So that's the kind of commitment that the lad gives. And of course, the one thing that he has that you absolutely cannot teach, cannot buy, it's pace. He has pace in bucket loads. He and the other thing he does have is his vision. There was one particular, you probably remember it, where he runs right across the pitch on a diagonal towards the right, and bloody hell. The only reason that doesn't end up in a try is because there's a deliberate knock on, or there's a knock on in the tackle from a Bayonne player. Otherwise, he gets the ball away to Ringer, who gets over. So the ability to read the game in a high speed situation, that you can't teach. It just happens. People like Jamison have it. He just it's. I don't know whether that's coming back from the sevens that he can pinpoint space. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why he can do these things. But of course, what he does have is he has the pace to be able to execute properly. And the final one is Max Deegan. I thought he was excellent. Every time he comes into play, he seems to give it his all. I think we're blessed in that position. let's not forget we've got Alex Soroka there as well, who, and I don't know the reasons why he wasn't in the squad for this match, maybe injury or whatever. But Max Deegan certainly put his hands up yesterday, and he has done pretty much throughout the season. Um, and it's not just his line out play, but his carries, his ability to read the ball, some of the thumping hits that he makes. Um, Clearly, his athleticism helps. But I just thought I'd give him a shout out because he's certainly a very good player, and he dives wonderfully into swimming pools as well. Um, in South Africa particularly. So yeah, big shout out to Jack, to JJ, and to Max.
Yeah, brilliant. Those are three great choices there. Yeah, well, I suppose working backwards there, you have Max. I mean, we spoke about him on the main pod from the game yet, and that was another great performance when you consider how many other options we have. You say there's Soroka coming up to the ranks, trying to break into the team, but that even then there you've got the Conan can play six, and of course Ryan Baird is injured at the moment, and he's back in the form of his life as well
Yeah,
before he went down. So, but it's great to be able to rely on Max. Now, remember, Max a couple of years ago was offered a move, and he chose to stay, and it's great. I mean, he's that win where he went into the swimming pool. That was a win against the Hollywood Best Sharks in Durban,
yeah,
and we he sort of assumed the mantle left by Reese Ruddock.
yeah.
We used to call them the Reese Ruddock All Stars, but now it's the Max Deegan, just
Ma-
the exact player to fill that role. He's also very unlucky not to be getting more test recognition. But of course, nobody talks about when it's a Leinster player who doesn't get. You look talk about Ross Maloney, Max
yeah.
Deegan, those kind of players. If they're not getting Irish caps, nobody cares because
No,
I don't know
no, because they don't.
something. But no, Max definitely deserves that. So he's having another great season. Josh Kenny, uh, you know, you just really when you consider that he's keeping out James Lowe, and you could say deservedly so, and he's a very similar kind of it's his attitude as well. He's got the talent, he's got the pace, he's got this just this confidence that I've got the ball in my hands, I'm going to make something happen.
Mm.
And he, like you say, he nearly did. When I saw it live, I thought he'd just thrown the ball into touch. I didn't see it. I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
oh, maybe, but no, no, he gets credit for that as well. That pass was going straight to Ringer,
yeah.
and it was deflected, and so he can not only. I mean, there's an end product to what he does. I think is the point, and he's also capable in defense. He gets stuck in. He clears out rucks when we have the ball. He gets stuck in even on the defensive side of things. He's I mean, they don't pick him for nothing
No,
for these big European matches, and he's earned his spot, and he's held on to it. You know, that's no mean feat, especially when you see Tommy O'Brien has come through as well just last season. He's taken the
mm,
spot, so we've got the
yeah,
two of them, two wingers that
yeah.
you wouldn't have even considered 2 years ago. You would have said who's
No,
going to be starting wingers for Leinster in the Champions Cup in 2025-26. You wouldn't have picked those two, that's for sure. And but they've definitely earned their spots. And then finally, Jack Boyle. What I say about Jack is that he's unlucky in that it's a very similar story to Ronan Kelleher. Ronan Kelleher broke into the Leinster team, and he broke into the Irish team, and it looked like, oh, he's got a big long future. But then right behind him, there's Dan Sheehan, and came in and just went ahead of him. He just had that little bit more,
yeah,
more than more than him. You could see he was that kind of player. He was going to be a lion. It's not Ronan's fault. It's just the way the way the talent pool kind of shook out, and the same thing is kind of happening to Jack at the moment. I mean, he had a decent start coming through. I think we've had some amazing options coming through the ranks for Leinster since Cian Healy was stepping off the stage, and Jack Boyle came up and he said it's not just in the scrums. He's such a strong carrier. He almost breaks the gain line every single carry. He's always got that extra power in the legs to get the extra few yards, and he does really well. Bit of an issue sometimes maybe with defensive. He maybe ships a couple of penalties, but even that speaks to his kind of attitude just to get involved and not just the old school thing of props lurching from scrum to scrum and doing nothing in between. There's a lot of work to be done in the meantime, and he gets stuck in. So yeah, three great choices there. But listen, that's great, Rich. So many thanks for that. And if you, the viewer, have any thoughts on those players or any other players or anything else you'd like us to harp on in future, please leave your comments below. And sure, while you're at it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe as well.